I'm the type, death doesn't really bother me. And I think that comes from being exposed to it at such a young age that it doesn't really bother me. But I find delight in knowing that my strength and not allowing it to bother me could easily help someone else. Family is very important. I have a very large family on both sides, relatively closer to my mom's side of the family. But the level of support that I got from both sides was just outrageous. Also, a lot of educators in my family, so I kind of knew if I didn't go into the funeral service industry, that education would be what I would do next. So, family is very important. My dad is a preacher, so Christian values kind of always played a part in everything that I did growing up, and even now I still uphold a lot of those morals and teachings. And also, with Monroe being as small as it is, the term "it takes a village to raise a child" really speaks volumes, because there are people that I'm not even related to that I refer to as aunt and uncle, or their cousins that act as aunt and uncles and grandparents. So that term really is fitting. It really speaks to who I am, and that indeed it does take a village to raise a child. There are so many people, I can't even begin to name the amount of people that really affected my life to where I can say this is truly what I want to do because of them. As I stated, growing up, large family, you see different people, and even though we're all in the same family, there are so many different lifestyles, different career tracks, and you just have to tell it like it is. You have that set that's like, okay, these are the people I want to be like, and then you have, okay, let me put my foot on the pedal so I don't end up like these people. Because even now I have people, and I hear people go to work, get off work, and complain about their job because it's a job to them. They're not passionate about it. It's just something for them to pay their bills. And then I have some aunts that worked in education for 30 plus, almost 40 years, and they still rejoice and have joyous moments. And when they talk about their flashbacks in their career, how passionate they are, I'm like, that's the drive that I want. You have to know what you want for yourself. And I often have to remind people that I could want you to go and be the greatest physician in the United States, but if you're settling at being a desk clerk at the doctor's office, then there's nothing that I could do to make you want to be the greatest physician. I can just support you. So sometimes you have to encourage yourself. When no one's around, you just have to tell yourself, hey, this is what I want for myself. And I know everyone doesn't believe, but I'm a strong believer, and I know that God will work things out for you. So even if you don't, so to say, believe, it's always good to have somebody in your corner who will pray for you, intercede on your behalf, and just trust that things will work themselves out. Because I know a lot of people who have had financial hardships, been through financial hardships in college, and then they have someone walk up to them and say, hey, let me just pay the balance on your account. I'll take care of it for you. And some may call it good luck, but I just believe that's the power of God. That's just how I was raised. That's what I believe. So finances, things of that nature, there's always money available. And that just goes back to networking. It won't come looking for you. You have to go looking for it. So just always keep your eyes open. Always subscribe to different scholarship websites. There's like Unigo, a website called Unigo. Sometimes those scholarships don't even have essays. I've won some of their scholarships, $2,500 scholarships, no essay. All you had to do was write your name, major, college, and GPA. Something as simple as that. So the money's there, scholarships are there. They are hard to find, but you have to want it. And if you really want something, you'll dig deep enough to find it. Networking plays a great part. In college you have your degree works, and then right next to it is networking, because I've already been offered teaching positions and I'm not even a certified educator yet. So it's just you have to put yourself out there. You just can't wait for people to come to you. you have to go up and introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Garren Walker, a aspiring educator. I'm a sophomore at Fort Valley. You just build a conversation with people. You never know who's watching also. So that's why I always try to tell my mentees that you never know who's watching. So you're walking around with basketball shorts and your Nike slides on, and your future employer could be standing at the door watching. And then when you go for your interview, like, oh, that's the same dude I saw with the basketball shorts and the Nike slides. So if he's walking around like that, then how could I benefit from hiring him? So it's those things that you have to think about. People are always watching you, so you never know your appearance. When you should always dress to the T. You should always speak to the T, because you never know who's watching. So networking plays a great part. And like I said, you just can't wait for things to come to you. Sometimes you have to throw the rod out in the lake and just pray you get a big catch. So networking is very important, even younger to older. It doesn't really matter about the age. Networking plays a great part in everything. Growing up, two of my aunts were my babysitters, who both passed away now. And like I said, they weren't really in a relation to me, but just because of how the community is. So the Pope sisters, they were passionate about going to funerals. So growing up, we would always go to funerals, funeral home, different stuff. And so like my mom worked 8 to 5. So if there was a funeral going on, they would tell my mom when she came to pick me up, hey, bring him a suit tomorrow. Because even as a child, I wore suits and things. So like, bring him a suit tomorrow. We're going to such and such's funeral. And so I kind of like grew a passion for that. And even now, I kind of still am passionate about it. And like, it's just something about helping people cope with grieving, because I'm the type, death doesn't really bother me. And I think that comes from being exposed to it at such a young age that it doesn't really bother me. But I find delight in knowing that my strength and not allowing it to bother me could easily help someone else feel as if I was a shoulder to lean on during their time of mourning. So it's just something that I've always been passionate about and plan on pursuing as I get older. I wasn't going to go to Fort Valley at first. I was going to go to Gupton Jones College of Mortuary Science, and just which was a 2-year program, and I'd be a licensed embalmer funeral director. And then I was like, well, let me go to a 4-year institution, and I could worry about getting my license in funeral service after I retire or somewhere in my career. So I desire to be in education. I have it very mapped out. So after I graduate from Fort Valley, I plan on returning home to teach at Carver Middle School, the middle school that I went through. I better serve the community that once served me is one of my mottos. So I want to go home and be that source of light in Monroe, my hometown, until I obtain my doctorate degree. So I plan on going to UGA and get my master's in English Ed, and then going to Jackson State and getting my doctorate in some form of leadership. My long-term career goal is to serve as the president of Fort Valley State University. And who better to do it than I'm already claiming, a proud alum, someone who really passionate and cares about the university. So that's my long-term career goal. And after I work in education, I do plan to own and operate my own funeral home.